Welcome in the arena. My name's Allison Klein. We're coming to you from OCP Summit in San Jose, California, and it is a data insights episode, which means Janice Narowski is with me. Hey, Janice, how's it going?
Hi, Allison.
We are in day 2 of recording at OCP Summit together, and we have been all around the world with conversations. Tell me, I am so excited for this conversation. Tell me who we've got with us.
Oh my gosh, heck yeah, me too. Day 2 of OCP was all about cooling, right? But the other topic is really around infrastructure. And how do you bring standards? How do you bring the infrastructure together? So today we have an opportunity to talk about that. And joined with us is RackRenew. We have Yeller Schlantes from RackRenew, and he's the director. So welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
So RackRenew is a new company to some of our listeners. Yella, you and I came together at the YADA conference recently and had a fantastic conversation about what you guys are up to. Can you introduce the company and what you're delivering with the OCP community?
Yeah, absolutely. RackRenew is a brand of SIMS Lifecycle Services. That's a brand that's a little bit more familiar in the OCP industry. I think good year of 5 we're now active. This is our 3rd summit where we're exhibiting, and this year we're launching RackRenew, which is it's a brand of SIMS where the purpose is really to bring remanufactured OCP material to all. What we see is the OCP community, all the innovation is really coming from the hyperscalers. SIMS Lifecycle Services is strong in decommissioning, and RackRenew's purpose is to recommission that infrastructure, that technology, that opportunity to run your business models on to a wider audience. It's RackRenew, simply said.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So when you look at OCP, when you think about, hardware overall and you look at infrastructure, you can kind of look at that as like putting together a Ferrari, right? Super fast, you need all the right parts and all the right PSUs to make the best car in the market. But if you think about recommissioning this infrastructure, and its useful life in hyperscale, what use cases in the industry support this?
First of all, I think you not only want a new Ferrari. If I offer you a 5-year-old Ferrari or a 7-year-old Ferrari, your heart goes up, right? You still want that.
Yeah.
Now, technology is slightly different compared to the automotive because, generally speaking, you think about technology, it's aging, it's becoming end of life. But we see use cases in several areas. I think we've seen some in the research and academia field. We've got some use cases where this hyperscale technology is for bare metal suppliers. We have some use cases of software as a service providers. Generally, they are tech savvy, they are open standards, and they figure out that if you look at your car analogy, it's your cost per mileage. There's still very good life left in OCP material, high quality, and a very affordable cost. And that's benefiting a lot of business models. Whether you just entry the market or whether you're a research in academia, that you do a lot of research, you're not reliant on mission critical. I think a lot of the compute out there is not mission critical. For that, the remanufactured hardware is a very good alternative in times of where new material is either scarce or your budget is a little bit limited. So we see several use cases.
I love this story, especially when you consider the commissioning that's going on in hyperscale and neocloud and right now in terms of fueling AI and the amount, just the sheer volume of equipment that we know that gets decommissioned on an annual basis. It's astounding. But OCP hardware is not necessarily standard off the shelf. There are some unique characteristics about it. How do you get your customer targets comfortable with some of the unique aspects of this infrastructure?
It starts with education. So we need to explain it's a different form factor. A lot of the potential customers that we try to move the remanufactured hardware to are either standardized on 19-inch and the standard OEMs. It needs to integrate in their networks, it needs to integrate in their PDU setups and power. But as soon as we go over that first obstacle, we have built several experience centers across the world where they can play around a little bit, feel it, touch it. I think those are the things that we've brought to the industry to overcome some of those hurdles. As we speak, there's a new rack on its way to Scale-up. Scale-up is a German SaaS and PaaS player in Germany. They were listed yesterday on the OCP as a new neo-cloud.
Yeah.
And we have a remanufactured rack on its way to their experience center in Nuremberg.
Wonderful.
That's what we're trying to do, is create stories, education, and show them.
Yeah, sure.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to talk more about that. But I'm also really interested in your relationship with SIMS, right? And how is SIMS really, it's a decommissioning services organization, but can you describe the relationship with SIMS and how is that really
super important? It's a steady force, in a sense, purpose-driven. So their purpose is really around preserving the planet. We're turning waste into new energies, a new product, new commodity. We're an Australian-listed company, and it's very important to feel the backup of that company. Now, another very big advantage is they serve the hyperscalers in their decommissioning needs, so they have the equipment available. So RackRenew is kind of first pick. We have the right scale, we have plenty of volume, not only in the Americas, but really on a global scale. So we have a center in Eindhoven. We're about to finish our deployment center in Singapore, so then we could really say we have 3 big hubs around the world to supply it. But that really comes from SIMS. It's a financial backup. We're publicly listed. So it comes with, as a startup, it comes with some challenges, but most of all it comes with major advantages.
Well, and it comes with a steady supply of infrastructure coming out of their yeah.
So it's I don't need the resource procurement. We need procurement on parts and components, but on the main material, no.
That's incredible. So can you walk us through the entire life of, a hyperscaler is a hyperscaler is decommissioning 1 or 1,000 racks. SIMS takes that, it moves to RackRenew, and then it gets redeployed or recommissioned to a new owner. Can you take us through that process?
Absolutely. I think first of all, it's important to recognize the hyperscalers is not just decommissioning racks, but a rack comes with IP, it comes with data, it comes with certain risks. So we have a very rigorous transport, reverse logistics from the data center to our circular center. And we have well-established receiving protocols when it comes to weight deviations. We do image captures. The material goes into the area for processing. Then we process through the lens of step 1, redeployment, step 2 is reuse, and then step 3 is material recovery. It's important to mention, I think SIMS is unique in its proposition to hyperscalers, where we really serve them by sending back critical spares, parts. CXL is a new technology that demands a lot of new used parts going back into the supply chain. So we send a lot of those parts back to the ODMs. That's why our sites are on certain climate control areas, and floors have certain densities and ESD protection. So it's a very high level of processing capacity. Once we've done that, the material goes through either microfactories or through hands. And we have a mixture of some activities in that process is done by robots, some is done by a human. Then RackRenew becomes the first pick. So we'll look at our demand funnel and say, what is it that we could bring to the market in a remanufacturing shape? The material is then going through a very rigorous process of 22 steps. We deploy new BMC chips, BSM cards, we do burn-in tests, performance tests. So we really try to come as close to a new product as possible. Important to mention, it comes with a very low embodied carbon, because the carbon is already paid for by its previous owner, in a sense.
That's amazing, yeah.
Sometimes we forget about it, but it's a strong thing. And then any other material that is not going to RackRenew, we look at repurposing, and I call it material recovery. I think some people say recycling, but the recycling industry has a very robust process over the last 30 years developed with very high recovery rates. So all that ferrous, non-ferrous, precious metal that is available in the electronics is being reused in its manufacturing stream.
That's amazing.
So simply said, it has two outbound flows. It has RackRenew and it has reuse, repurpose.
So I'm curious, based on everything you said as it relates to storage, right? Repurposing storage. How do you do that, and how do you deliver storage solutions, say with things like OCP lock spec?
Well, our industry is still so much around IP protection, data protection. So unfortunately, we still see a lot of destruction of IP data. But grant, I don't think we've given the hyperscalers or its original users the right technology to mitigate that risk. And I think that's OCP lock. So I think what the industry has done, they've come together and see, can we come up with the latest and greatest protocols to provide the hyperscalers or the large enterprises to mitigate that risk of data.
Yeah.
So far that's not the case yet. It's in development, it's nearly there. And I think our contribution as SIMS and RackRenew is we would really like to embed with OCP lock and contribute back to the industry to say, what do we as an industry need? I think verification for our clients is super important. Certification, so we need to give a certificate. Those are little things that I think we need to add to the protocols, but they are, I think it's one of the biggest opportunities in our industry, because at the moment we destroy a lot of the storage media devices that still have good life in it left.
That's amazing. I think that is an area where I'm going to be watching for sure from a circularity perspective. And circularity as a whole is a huge benefit of this. Have you quantified some of the savings that is coming through this process that you just described?
It's the total addressable market, but it's hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
It's beyond calculation. It's if we could nail this as an industry, and I think it's collaborative. But if we can nail it, we can really unlock some potential of the industry. And I think that's where SIMS comes into play in servicing the OEMs, like the Solidigms, in terms of can we develop together protocols where you take storage back from your clients and we run those refurbishment processes for you, where we recertify them together with you with the right software and the right tools, so we put a collective label on it. And if we can move that material into, say, the remanufacturing streams, and we can redeploy that memory of that storage devices in the RackRenew specs, etc., then it's a win-win situation. And of course, storage media breaks, so sometimes you have to deploy new. Although the fill rates are very low.
Yeah, right.
It's, if you compare it with the GPU's fill rates, I mean, storage media is a very robust adult product. Major unlock of opportunity.
Amazing. So I'm really curious about the types of organizations and customers you're going to be working with. A few minutes ago, you talked a bit about NeoCloud, but who do you really see benefiting from your types of services?
I think it's a very wide. I mean, this is something I learned on this OCP, is that everybody talks data centers, but there's a lot of data in the centers. So I think the demand for storage, if you look at the deployment of the new AI models, etc., first you need to have good data that the models can make sense of, but it will also create a lot of data. So we see actually from all our product to market fit that we created, I think we see at the moment the best market to entry in storage. And that can be enterprises that have a lot of storage files that they maintain, where we use spinning. or in the inference space, where we go to, the bare metal suppliers that offer some GPU capacity in that space, where they run inference. I think, flash storage is also one of the bigger markets that we try to address with RackRenew. So some conventional, and we see a lot of in the inference.
Yeah, I've been so happy having you on the show. Thank you for coming. I know it's really busy at OCP, but I do want to ask you one final question.
Yep.
Where can folks find out more about what RackRenew is delivering and engage with you and your team around potential collaborations?
Thank you. Good question. First of all, we have launched a new website called www.rackrenew.com. And we're here at booth C63 on the exhibition hall, and we're today and tomorrow available to have any questions. And otherwise an email, always good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. And Janice, that wraps another episode of Data Insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you again, Jelle.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Nice to meet you.
Same.